Hello, everyone. I just learned that my name means a shining light. Do you know what your name means? In the Bible, names are very important. They have specific meanings that are connected with what is happening at that time. For example, Seth means appointed or compensation because Eve now had another son to take Abel's place after he was killed by Cain. Seth was taller than Abel or Cain and looked more like his father Adam than his brothers did. Most importantly, Seth honored God, did his will, and lived a righteous life just as Abel would have done had he remained alive. When Seth was 105, his first son was born, and Seth named him Enos. It means mortal man, and this meaning was a constant reminder that man's situation had changed. As mortals, we must always depend on the Lord through prayer. This is why the Bible tells us in 2 Chronicles 7:14, "If my people who are called by my name will humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, then I will hear from heaven and will forgive their sin and heal their land." The Bible tells the story of King Hezekiah, who was deathly ill when God told him to put his house in order and prepare to die. But it's probably better to let King Hezekiah tell us his own experience.
Hi, guys. How do I feel? Well, much better, thank you. God is wonderful and answered my prayer. Well, you see, I had a small spot on my skin. At first, I didn't pay much attention to it. But as the days went by, it grew until it had become an open wound on my foot, and nothing would heal it. One day, the prophet Isaiah arrived with the terrible news that I should put my house in order by making peace with everyone and prepare to die. I had only a few days left to live. Can you imagine how I felt? I was not prepared to die. I had so many plans. After all, I was only 39 years old. I was in the middle of my life. I couldn't handle the news, and I turned my face to the wall and began to cry my eyes out. I poured out my soul to the Lord and begged him to remember all that he had done for the people of Israel and for the temple. I said to God, moved by the love I have for him, "O Lord, please remember," I said, "that I have walked before you in truth and with the whole heart, and that I have done what is good in your sight." You can't imagine what happened. God heard my prayer. God's answer came immediately. The prophet Isaiah was leaving the palace when he received God's command to tell the king this message: "I have heard your prayer. I have seen your tears. I will heal you." And do you know how God healed me? The prophet Isaiah asked for figs to be brought to him, and my servants were told to make a dough with them. Then they put the fig paste on my sore, and I was healed. God is great. He gave me 15 more years of life.
Do you understand just how wonderful God is to listen to our sincere prayers? Even if we are children, He will listen to us and help us. James chapter 5 verse 14 tells us, "Is anyone among you sick? Call for the elders of the church and pray for him, anointing him with oil in the name of the Lord. And the prayer of faith shall save the sick, and the Lord shall raise him up. And if he has committed sins, they shall be forgiven him." You see, whenever someone is sick, the elders of the church should be called to pray. In addition, by faith, it's also important to use plants as natural remedies, as was done in the case of King Hezekiah. Although God answered King Hezekiah's prayer and yielded to his request, the best time for King Hezekiah to die was at that time when God told him to prepare. God allowed him to live an extra 15 years to show others what was in his heart. This example reminds us not to ask for our will to be done, but the will of God should be accomplished. Sadly, King Hezekiah's heart filled with pride, and he didn't give God the glory for his recovery. As a result, the people of Israel suffered for the mistakes Hezekiah made. Like Abel, Seth is also a symbol of Jesus. He is also our substitute. For being God, he emptied himself, taking the form of a servant, being made in the likeness of men, and made himself equal to them. The prophet Isaiah says in chapter 53, "He was wounded for our transgressions, he was bruised for our iniquities. The chastisement of our peace was upon him, and with his stripes we are healed. All we like sheep have gone astray. We have turned every one to his own way, and the Lord hath laid on him the iniquity of us all." Have you had any experiences with God in prayer? Have you seen how God has answered your prayers? Tell a class and discuss how God answers our prayers. But if you haven't, I invite you to seek God in prayer. God bless you, and see you next time.